This is the first precision test I'm doing with this new CMMG Dissent. I've already fired approximately 20 rounds thus far, so the bore has been fouled. So for just a quick rundown of the setup, pretty much with all my precision tests, I'm using the exact same 8 power Schmidt & Bender short dot going off of a bipod from prone, just so that there's no hard wall compared to when shooting off of a bench versus a soft shoulder. That can change how things fire. Already got this zeroed. I'm going to start with the rounds that I zeroed this with, which aren't great, but since I am zeroed with them, I'm going to be starting with these. This is Vympel Golden Tiger. These aren't grouping the best. I have a lot of more premium fancy rounds that I'll test out after this, but these are going to go at the top left, firing 10 rounds. And of all the rounds that I fire, just because I'm actually testing the accuracy of a rifle this time, rather than just a single ammo test, whichever round ends up shooting the best, I'll do a 30 round group of that. That's the 10. Next up is Silver Bear, specifically their hollow point, which isn't showing up the best on camera, but that's what I'm using. Top right. Got an error on the velocity reading of that one. That was actually the last one too. Moving now to some of the much fancier rounds. This is the probably most expensive one I have out here. This is Hornady Black. Let's see, I've got 10 rounds of it loaded here. Rather unique projectile shape. Got that red tip there. I'm going to be firing these at the bottom left. Next up, we have Winchester Target in Practice, just a white box, but despite that, kind of a fancier round. You can see this is actually nickel-plated brass. Feels really smooth. It's got a regular FMJ in there, so I'm going to fire these at the bottom right now. After this, I'll go switch out the targets and let's do some basic measurements, and we'll see how things are going so far. I have reset the targets, so we've got 4 more down there. I have 3 more types of ammo, and then we'll do that 30 round group, starting with Belom right here. Got 10 rounds loaded. Just another FMJ. Next up is PPU M67. This white box stuff you can see right here. Boxes are absolutely terrible, ready to fall apart. Here's those rounds you can see. Again, 10. This is the last distinct ammo type that I'll be testing today, and then, like I said, we'll be getting to that 30-shot group. This is another PPU, but this is their civilian line, the Rifle Line ammunition, blue box. FMJ again. Pulled that one. Finishing up here with the 30 round group, I opted to use Hornady Black. It looks like this is tied with the Silver Bear as far as most precise. If you exclude the PPU, which I am because I'm including flyers. There was 2 flyers. Now one of those I probably did pull, but the other one was not me. We are clear. All right, I'm gonna take some actual, much more precise measurements of everything because I just took field measurements right now. Starting with Vympel Golden Tiger, and I'll just go through each of these in the same order that I actually shot them in, just easiest way to follow it. So you can see all the individual velocities that I was able to track are laid out here. Unfortunately, there was a few that didn't track, like here on the Barnaul, here on the Monoflex, which I'll get to when we get around to them, but just focusing on the Golden Tiger for now. If we look down here, I do have the statistics put in here. And looking at the actual target as well, I didn't really see any flyers. The group as a whole is a bit more vertically strung out, which sometimes can be indicative of inconsistent bipod loading, but I don't feel like that was really the case here. I felt like I was loading very consistently, and again, keep in mind that the barrel is free-floated, so even if it was inconsistently loaded, you'd have to be super inconsistent for it to actually make that big of a difference. So I think it's just the ammo. I've never had really great results with Vympel, even out of my other Wasser AK. Moving next to Barnaul, we have a much better group here, 1.86 MOA. They all shot a little bit low, do note that. The velocities themselves, if you look at this is kind of interesting. They don't look that low, but actually, so outside of this precision test, I was doing just a ton of just drills and other general practice with the shot timer and all that. And I was actually getting a fair bit of stovepipes and just undergassing related malfunctions from the Barnaul. So I think that's the same reason why it shot low, is just that it doesn't have as much pressure behind it, because all the malfunctions I was having outside of this precision test do point to that being the case. But as far as the group itself, they shot really well. I didn't see any problems, and I didn't see any that needed to be excluded for any reason. Let's move next to the Monoflex. So this is one where we did have a failure to track on round 3, but I don't think it's really an issue, at least on this group, because they all shot great. Again, they're quite low. Do note, when we got to the 30 round group, I don't think I mentioned this, but I did actually adjust the zero, hence why they shot a lot better, or as far as accuracy, not precision, is concerned in the second 30 shot group. But we're just looking at precision today, so it doesn't really matter. Do note that the velocities here are way lower, including if you go over here to the 30 shot group again. The Monoflexes in general do seem to be loaded quite a bit, just to a lower velocity, though unlike on the Barnaul, I did not have a single malfunction with these Hornadys, so something going on there. Next up is the Winchester target and practice ammo. I had a bit higher hopes for this, even though it's just Winchester white box, because it has the nice nickel-plated case. Looks like a kind of fancier round, but ultimately they, well, I should say 9 of the 10 shots didn't shoot bad, but then there was just that random almost flyer in round 3. Now, if you've seen my past precision tests, I've always been pretty lenient on flyers, but as I've been doing this more, and now that I have more ways of measuring, and I'm always doing the lab radar and everything, I have a lot more ways to tell if something is an actual flyer, and I've been a lot more reluctant to exclude anything. So I did not exclude round 3 in this case, and so I measured the whole group, and that ended up being a 2.96 MOA. Not great. I do think that there is something up with the ammo, because you can see how low the velocity was on round 3, which is that one that shot way lower. And I should say it's not tremendously lower, but yeah, that was the lowest velocity of them all. Next up is Belom. I didn't really have any particular expectations for this cartridge. I just had them and wanted to test them out. Those shot a 2.73 MOA group. 6 of those rounds actually grouped really well, but you can see there's 4 of them out there that were just a lot more dispersed. But none were too erratic, so I included all of them. No flyers there either. I'm going to talk about the 2 PPU groups kind of simultaneously here. So starting with the M67s, those were the military loadings, white box. And one thing I think is interesting is if you look at the velocities, comparing the M67 to the Rifle Line, you'll see that they were significantly higher on the M67s. Now, prior to doing this, I actually thought that they were just going to be pretty much repackaged identical ammo, because they're the same grain bullet, they're the same bullet design, or at least they look like it, but they did actually shoot significantly differently. These M67s shot pretty similar to like the Golden Tiger, so just 3 MOA, pretty much on the dot. If we go to the Rifle Line, the actual group, do note I did actually exclude a flyer there. That's that very far left shot. I did not count that one at all, because that one was 100% me. I could just clearly see that I was not correctly lined up. But even excluding the one that I definitely myself pulled, there was another one right next to it that
again, almost looks like a flyer, but I didn't see any reason to exclude it because I didn't feel like I pulled that shot. So I included it, and that ended up being a 2.08 MOA, which is not bad, even including that kind of further out round there. I think this has the potential to be good. So I don't know if it's just one weird round. We only have 10 rounds, so it's not the best sample size. I might take these out off camera another time and just test and see if they do any better. But without further ado, let's get to the 30 round group. So do note, I don't have too good comparable data for 30 round groups because this is actually the first rifle that I've done a 30 round group on. Been doing a lot of reading and research and watching a lot of Preston Moore videos. There's a lot of good reasons to do a 30 round group when you're actually testing a rifle, which I am in this video, testing the Dissent Mk47. On this channel I do quite a few just ammunition tests as well, and going forward those are still going to be just 10 round groups because when you get to 30 round groups you start to see a lot more of just the effect of the rifle and the system as a whole, to see the barrel, the profile as it heats up and what that does to the group size. This is a medium profile barrel, so we did actually see the group open up a fair bit, ended up at a 3.14 MOA, which still not really too bad, but yeah, definitely did open up a lot more compared to the first 10 round group. I didn't feel like I pulled any of these. I was actually feeling like I did really well throughout this, so no issues with flyers that I felt like I needed to exclude on my end. All the velocities are good, nothing weird there. Very low standard deviation here, which is quite interesting. Do note that we only had a 10, just a little bit over 10, I should say, standard deviation on the second Monoflex group, the 30 round group, compared to the first one, which actually saw the highest standard deviation. So it was something with the luck of the draw with the 10 that I shot. So it's pretty safe to say that this rifle, if you want to count 10 shot groups, which just since historically I've done those, being anywhere from a little bit under 2 MOA to about 3 MOA is really good. It's actually a big reason why I wanted to pick up this rifle, which I'm not going to get too far into the weeds because I will at some point, or I should say I intend to do in the future, a full review on this rifle once I have more rounds on it. But there's just a lot less variables on this sort of rifle compared to an AK, which I was actually trying to do an ammunition accuracy test on a somewhat more rare round out of my Wasser, and ultimately found out that at this point it is totally shot out. So I needed something to replace it. And if you're watching this video way in the future and you want more information just on the CMMG Dissent Mk47 itself, then check the description. When I upload the video, I will have it linked there. But other than that, just looking at the precision, I would say not bad. If you have any other questions on this, or you want to add your own experiences with this, or just other 7.62x39 rifles or whatever, then by all means do feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if nothing else, thank you all for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you all in the next one.